Welcome to Mysteries and Crime, where we explore the world's most haunting mysteries. Tonight, we dive into one of Italy's most terrifying cases, the Monster of Florence. Between the late 1960s and the mid-1980s, a shadow of fear loomed over the beautiful Tuscan countryside. The rolling hills and ancient vineyards, once symbols of romance and tranquility, became the backdrop for a series of brutal murders that sent shivers down the spines of locals and law enforcement alike. It all began with a couple enjoying a quiet evening under the stars. What should have been a night of love and serenity turned into a gruesome tragedy. Their bodies were found the next morning, savagely attacked and mutilated, in a way that pointed to something far more sinister than a random act of violence. The police were left baffled. Who was behind these gruesome slayings? And why did the killer seem to vanish into thin air, leaving behind only horror and confusion? The Monster of Florence remains a chilling enigma, a specter that haunted the idyllic landscape for nearly 2 decades. Before we begin, in today's episode, a new mystery awaits you. Hidden in this story is a crucial clue. What significant evidence was found at the crime scenes that link the murders together? Think you can crack it? Share your answer in the comments below for a chance to be featured next week. Stay tuned as we unravel this chilling case, the twists, the suspects, and the unanswered questions. Each twist in this dark tale will lead us closer to understanding the mind of the monster. But will we ever truly know the truth? The monster struck repeatedly and with horrifying precision. Each time the victims were young couples seeking solitude in the picturesque countryside. What drove the killer to such calculated brutality? Could it have been someone they knew? Or was the perpetrator a phantom who moved unseen through the shadows? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your theories in the comments below. Your engagement fuels our journey into these dark mysteries. For years, residents of Florence lived in constant fear. The countryside, once a place of escape and romance, had become a hunting ground for an unknown predator. Police scrambled to put together the puzzle pieces, but the monster always seemed to be one step ahead. Every case we explore here is a puzzle, a challenge that demands to be solved, and tonight's case is no exception. From eerie countryside roads to chilling witness accounts, this case will take us deep into the heart of fear itself. Close your windows, dim the lights, and prepare for a journey into darkness. The truth awaits, if you dare to seek it. The Monster of Florence terrorized the idyllic hills of Tuscany between the years of 1968 and 1985. Over the course of 17 years, the killer struck with terrifying precision, targeting young couples in secluded areas known for their romantic ambiance. These lovers' lanes, once a haven for romance, quickly turned into scenes of horror. The case remains one of the most perplexing, unsolved mysteries in Italy's history. The brutal and ritualistic nature of the murders raised numerous questions. Was it a lone psychopath, a conspiracy, or perhaps a cult operating in the shadows? Despite extensive investigations and multiple suspects being considered, the true identity of the monster remains unknown. The countryside of Florence, known for its lush vineyards and charming rustic villages, soon became a place of terror. Families locked their doors, whispers of fear echoed through the streets, and the sense of security vanished. Who was behind these brutal slayings? And how did the murderer evade capture for nearly 2 decades? As we dive deeper into the chilling details of this infamous case, keep an eye out for the patterns that eluded investigators for so long. The gruesome discoveries always followed the same haunting pattern. Young couples, found brutally murdered in their cars or in isolated countryside locations. Their peaceful escapes into nature turning into scenes of terror. The monster's method was both precise and horrific. Couples were ambushed late at night, often in remote areas with little chance of escape. The killer used a Beretta pistol, firing at close range before inflicting additional wounds with a sharp blade. Some victims were mutilated post-mortem, pointing to a deeply disturbing psychological profile. Investigators arrived to scenes drenched in horror, shattered glass, pools of blood, and personal belongings scattered in the grass. Bullet casings were often found meticulously placed, a chilling reminder of the killer's control over the situation. One of the most disturbing elements was the post-mortem mutilation of female victims, surgical-like precision in the removal of intimate body parts. This pointed to a possible sexual motive, or perhaps a ritualistic element that baffled criminologists. Authorities speculated the killer might have stalked their victims for days, watching their every move before striking. This level of premeditation made investigators believe they were dealing with someone methodical and deeply disturbed. Despite their efforts, crucial evidence was often compromised. Early responders failed to properly secure the crime scenes, leading to contamination and loss of valuable forensic clues. The press and curious onlookers further disrupted the sites, making it increasingly difficult for investigators to piece together the horrific puzzle. Law enforcement responded with urgency, sealing off crime scenes and conducting thorough searches. However, the eerie and unsettling nature of the murders sparked widespread fear across the region. Couples who once enjoyed romantic evenings under the stars now feared for their lives. The once bustling countryside roads became desolate as people avoided venturing out after dark. Rumors of a shadowy figure stalking the hills of Florence spread rapidly, and speculation ranged from a crazed loner to a satanic cult. The media frenzy surrounding the case only fueled public paranoia. Newspapers splashed graphic details across their front pages, fueling mass hysteria. Press conferences were held frequently, with authorities assuring the public that they were making progress. Yet, behind closed doors, frustration mounted as leads went cold. Police faced mounting pressure to deliver results. Public confidence in law enforcement wavered as each passing day brought new fears and fewer answers. Despite their best efforts, the monster remained elusive. Each of the monster's victims had unique stories. They were young couples, often seeking privacy and intimacy in the scenic outskirts of Florence. Among them were passionate students, newly engaged couples, and even travelers exploring the Tuscan countryside. Their last moments, filled with love and excitement, were cruelly interrupted by a force of unimaginable darkness. Some victims were last seen alive in bustling cafes or leaving cinemas, moments before their fateful journeys into the countryside. Friends and family recall their excitement. A late-night drive, a picnic under the stars, dreams that turned into nightmares. Victims were found in eerily similar conditions, shot multiple times, their bodies exhibiting signs of calculated violence. The killer often took trophies, fueling fears of a ritualistic or obsession-driven motive. In some cases, Their bodies were arranged in unsettling poses, an unnerving signature of the monster's gruesome handiwork. Investigators noted disturbing patterns, a methodical targeting of couples in isolated areas, often striking on moonless nights when visibility was low. Families of the victims were left in devastation, their grief compounded by the sheer brutality of the crimes. Florence, a city of romance and art, was the last place one would expect a serial killer to strike repeatedly. The rolling hills and scenic countryside, once symbols of tranquility, became synonymous with fear. The beauty of the region was overshadowed by the monstrous deeds taking place in the dark corners of its landscapes. Despite its beauty, the region's history was marred by darker undertones, rumors of secret societies and clandestine gatherings. The crime rate had been relatively low, but the monster's reign shattered the illusion of safety. A once tight-knit community now found itself wary of strangers, and the charm of Florence's countryside was replaced by an ominous cloud of dread. In 1968, the first known victims were discovered. The pattern continued sporadically, with murders occurring every few years, each more gruesome than the last. The most infamous string of murders began in 1981, and with each attack, law enforcement found themselves further from answers. Media coverage intensified, yet no solid leads emerged. Crucial opportunities were missed, and the killer always seemed one step ahead. Authorities assembled a dedicated task force to track down the Monster of Florence. Detectives combed through witness statements, forensic reports, and psychological profiles. However, the investigation faced numerous challenges: miscommunication between agencies, tampered evidence, and an overwhelming number of suspects. Early suspicions fell on individuals with known violent tendencies, yet none could be definitively linked to the crimes. Meanwhile, the public demanded answers, adding immense pressure on the investigators. Key pieces of evidence included matching bullet casings found at multiple crime scenes linking the murders. Forensic analysis revealed the use of a Beretta pistol, but despite this crucial lead, tracing the weapon proved elusive. Inconsistencies in forensic findings further complicated the case. Some pieces of evidence seemed to contradict others, leading to confusion and frustration within the investigation team. A handful of witnesses came forward, providing glimpses into the possible identity of the killer. Some described a shadowy figure lurking in the darkness, while others recalled eerie encounters near crime scenes. Yet, conflicting testimonies cast doubt on their credibility, and law enforcement struggled to piece together a coherent suspect profile. From lone wolf theories to elaborate conspiracy claims, the Monster of Florence case has sparked endless speculation. Official theories pointed to a single disturbed individual, while others believed the killings were the work of a group involved in occult rituals. The case captivated the media, with sensational headlines fueling both fear and fascination. Reporters followed every twist and turn, often influencing public perception and even the investigation itself. Several suspects were brought to trial, but none were conclusively linked to all the murders. The courtroom saw dramatic exchanges, with defense and prosecution battling over circumstantial evidence. Who was the Monster of Florence? The case remains open, with new theories emerging over time. Experts analyzed the killer's mind, trying to understand motivations and patterns. The case also left a psychological scar on the community, instilling fear that lasted for years. This case influenced literature, films, and even police procedures in Italy. serving as a cautionary tale of investigative failures. New techniques in DNA analysis and criminal profiling could eventually shed light on the case, but limitations in preserved evidence present challenges. Many leads remained unexplored or were discarded prematurely, leaving questions unanswered. Similar crimes across the globe have raised theories of a possible connection or copycat killers. The Monster of Florence case is a chilling reminder that darkness can lurk even in the most beautiful places. Despite decades of investigation, the true identity of the killer remains a mystery. What do you think happened? Could we ever uncover the truth? Share your answer in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more haunting cases. Before we go, here's today's crucial clue once again. What significant evidence was found at the crime scenes that linked the murders together? Think you know the answer? Leave it in the comments below for a chance to be featured in our next episode. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, stay safe, and keep questioning the unknown.